Hello everyone, welcome to Love Talk. Time to communicate with James and Elena.
Most things in life are good in moderation. Ask any woman and she will confirm this straight away. After all, chocolate is proof of that, right?
This is why any doctor will tell you that the best way to live life is to take everything in moderation. Take exercise, for example. It does wonders for your health and appearance. But being obsessed with going to the gym is now a new problem of our century, proving that there can be too much of a good thing.
What often tends to happen is that sometimes people either put too much emphasis on their appearance or then none at all. Ideally, there should be a good balance of healthy interest in your appearance. But with record numbers of money being made in the plastic surgery field, we have to ask the question if this is now going too far.
No husband will complain when his wife strives to always look her best. And every wife would applaud the husband who keeps his belly in check. But when things go overboard, the relationship can suffer. Not to mention that it might just cause a dent in the wallet too.
With women accounting for over 90% of plastic surgery procedures in the UK, this clearly tells us a story of who spends more time worrying about this issue. But when does a healthy interest in one's appearance turn into an unhealthy appetite to look good?
Dr. Frederick Brandt, dubbed the Baron of Botox, sadly recently took his own life. He famously liked to experiment his procedures on himself and had a list of A-list clients. Dr. Brandt struggled with depression for a while, which raises the question if investing most of our strength on bettering our appearance is indeed a good thing.
This is Liverpool, where local girl, 23-year-old Gemma Vixen, is a massive fan of Botox and fillers. She started using them as a teenager when she feared her use of sunbeds was prematurely aging her. Since then, she's become hooked on anti-wrinkle injections and fillers to plump out her lips.
Why do you think it is addictive? What is the kick?
I love the needles. Yeah, I love, it's disgusting, I know, but I love feeling the needle going in and I can feel it going bigger, and as soon as it's done, I feel like I've been punched in the mouth. It's amazing. It's addictive, and as soon as you start seeing the Botox working, it's fascinating. Every single day you get up, look in the mirror, and you can see your eyebrows going a bit higher and you can't frown, and it's amazing. It's like you're recreating yourself in a way.
When did you start doing it? How old were you?
I was 19 when
19?
Yeah. To be honest, I always wanted big lips, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure now to look, a certain way. And I just, got my lips done, and I was so nervous, and then I loved it, and it's like an addiction now. It's like you love it or you hate it. And I think with Botox and lips, you are going to love it, definitely for me.
Do you like to be frozen up there?
I think it makes your skin look amazing and flawless. I hope my laughter line's doing, only because I've been getting my lips done for so long. It really stretches your skin here and it makes these lines deeper. So I want to get fillers just in here, just to puff it out. But I don't want to look like a duck. I get told I look like a duck. My dad says that.
And has it ever gone wrong?
No, I did have one problem. A lady who injected me put more in one side than the other. And when I went to, I went back to her and said, right, there's a problem. This side's bigger than this side. She wouldn't correct it for me, and I had to then pay to get it done again.
Does it feel weird? Because you sort of go, even looking at them, I was sort of going like that. Does it feel odd?
No, I can't feel it. You can feel it if you squeeze my lips, but when I'm talking...
Can I squeeze just gently?
Yeah,
I've got clean hands.
Squeeze.
Oh,
it's squidgy.
Oh yeah, it is
It's like gel. The first time I had one syringe put in, and I rang a week later and I was like, I want more. I've spent a lot of money on it. It is an expensive addiction.
Gemma, a sales consultant, has to find £2,500 a year to fund her habit.
How will you continue to fund it? What if you were saving for a house, or you had children, or how would you find that money?
I'd find it, definitely. I'd call me dad. No, I'd definitely find it. Sometimes I think, oh, can I afford it this month? But somehow I just do it. I can go without other things, It's a necessary, really.
So Botox and orange color aside, you can see that there's a serious problem there with an addiction.
Yes.
Right? Which is what we were saying, that it hides, sometimes plastic surgery and all these kind of things can hide a deeper problem. And addiction is a problem.
Insecurities, I believe, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't like what you see, there's an issue there, and then people tend to, do things so they can feel better, and that's exactly what's been happening to this lady. Anyway, well, before we carry on, let's just get one thing out of the way. It's indeed a healthy thing to look after our appearance. But in the last segment of this show, we will give you our honest view on what the real problem is when people start being obsessed with their looks.
But first, let's meet our guests for today. Believe it or not, I have known Mark since I was 14, 15 years old, and he will share together with his wife how they have made their relationship work, with the added pressure of moving often around the world because of their jobs. Let's see how they fare in today's love quiz.
Hello and welcome to this week's Love Talk quiz. And it's that time where we test their knowledge about each other. I have with me today Sylvia and Mark. Hello, Mark and Sylvia.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Well, we are about to find out how well you guys know each other. The rules are very simple and so are the questions. So this is what will happen. I will ask you each 5 questions and you only have 10 seconds to answer each one correctly. Let's begin with Sylvia, shall we?
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I think so.
Okay, so you have to be really quick, all right?
Yes.
Right, question number 1. What's his happiest memory as a child? Time starts now.
When he was living in Germany.
No? Something else that he mentioned. Quick.
When his brother was born.
No, you ran out of time, but he said when he used to go camping with his family, when he was a little boy. No worries, you still have 4 to go. Question number 2, what kind of music does he like?
Classic music.
Correct. Question number 3, what doesn't he like to eat?
He doesn't like to eat.
10 seconds, remember the smell thing you were mentioning?
Veggies? No. He likes to eat almost everything.
You ran out of time, Sylvia. He said curry.
Oh yeah.
You should know this.
I didn't know that.
Right, question number 4. What 2 items can he not live without? Before he leaves home, he needs to carry those 2 items. What are those?
His mobile phone and his wallet.
Correct. Now, last question. Now we need to think about these ones and be very quick. Name 3 things you and your partner think have in common.
Our goals.
Yes.
We both love nature.
Yes. One more to go, quick. You're out of time, Sylvia. He said that you are both quite perfectionist in what you do.
Yes.
You like things very, in a very certain way. Well, not bad, but let's go to Mark. Mark, how are you feeling? Are you feeling confident or what?
Yes, right, bring it on.
Yes? Okay, tell me. Question number 1. What is her idea of a perfect me time? 10 seconds on the clock.
Stay on the sofa, perhaps drinking a tea or coffee or whatever.
But doing what? What else?
Watching TV?
Yes. Just about. I'm not sure if this one went through right, but let's see at the end, okay?
Okay.
Question number 2. What are you most likely to argue about? 10 seconds.
Time.
Correct. Very well. Question number 3. What are the 2 things she loves the most about you? You've got 10 seconds. You've got to be quick.
That I'm too perfectionist, perhaps? No.
No. She said caring and discipline, but you ran out of time.
Yeah.
Remember, you only have 10 seconds. But listen, you still have 2 more to go. Okay? Now, question number 4. What was her most difficult time in life so far?
The most difficult time?
Yeah, so far.
When she was living with her stepfather.
Correct. She even mentioned when her mom remarried.
Yes.
That's correct. Well done. And last question. This one is very easy. What's her shoe size?
41 perhaps, 40, 39, 38.
Correct. 39. Okay, you're gonna count from. Okay, 39. Well done. Well done. Okay, and the score is 3-2, and the winner is Mark. Well done, Mark. Sorry, Sylvia. I think, you know, never mind. Next time you'll do better, okay? No worries. It's just a game. Well, now it's time for the 3 most annoying things about your partner.
He's very strict with his time, like extremely strict. So sometimes we still have an hour away from the appointment, but he's already come, we're gonna be late. So he keeps like annoying me until we go, and then we always arrive really early.
She takes too long to get ready when we are going out. For instance, we have appointments, and though that we don't normally arrive late, but we gets annoying to me because once I get ready, I want to go, I want to leave the house, and she takes a bit longer than I.
When I'm working, if he's close by, only if he has something to do, but if he's close by, he keeps checking my work, he keeps asking, what are you doing? He keeps trying to give tips, oh, do like this, like that, and sometimes I'm like, oh, please, let me do it, I know what I'm doing.
When she asks me for something and I say already what I really want from her, and she keeps insisting in the same thing. Because I don't like to repeat myself. I like to say just one thing and that's it. And she keeps nagging me.
He's very annoyed with smells, especially bad smells. Sometimes like, no, smells something here. And they're like, no, but it doesn't smell anything. So he opens or the fridge, or sometimes we are in another place like, it smells bad here. And I can't smell, so sometimes it depends on where we are, it gets annoying, yes.
When sometimes she tries to trick me, when she buys something for her, and she brings a chocolate or something to say, look, I bought this for you and also this for me.
Welcome back. So the couple that's with us here today, we have a few things in common, right, Elena? Because the thing of the time, we struggle with that as well, right?
No, you struggle. I'm fine with time.
No, you struggle because you're the one that has to be on time.
I'm very comfortable with time. You are the stressed one about time.
But the thing is, you are too comfortable with time.
So it is the...
Life is too short. That's how I think.
Okay, so, and what was the score again?
I won, of course.
Yeah.
3-2. So congratulations to Mark.
Thank you.
Now, sorry?
Do I have a gift with that?
The gift is that you are here with us. For those who don't know, I actually know Mark since you were how old?
14.
14 years old.
Yes.
So even though we haven't spent too much time together because he traveled the world, I traveled the world, but we know each other for a really long time. I knew you when you were single, you knew me when I was single. And it's good to have you guys on the show because you have an interesting story. For example, you, Sylvia. The beginning of the relationship was a little bit difficult for you because of some things you went through. Tell us about that.
Yes, because of I came from a broken family. Mm-hmm. So my mom got married, remarried again when I was 9. So my stepfather was very abusive. So this made me have a totally wrong idea about marriage. So I thought all men were the same. So I always thought that I would never get married because I didn't want to pass through the same that she did. Mm-hmm. And that's why it was a bit hard when we met each other, it was a bit hard to accept that.
But hard in what way?
It.
What did you find difficult to adapt to?
After marriage? Mm-hmm.
After marriage, when you were dating, what was hard for you?
It was hard to, I think, the commitment of being in a relationship and knowing that the end of it would be marriage. So I didn't want to open up, let's say, like my heart too much to him or to any man. So I was always very bitter, I can say that. I would always put him away.
Really?
Yes.
So you were dating, but you would put him away?
Yes. So we would talk, we would talk a lot on the phone. Was a friend of a friend that we had in common that introduced us. So we used to talk a lot on the phone. So we talked for an hour, 2 hours sometimes. We were best friends, but every time I remember that, okay, it may become something more serious. Yes. So I would say, look, we are talking, but I don't like you. It's, we're just friends.
And the same,
And
I would
he would
reply
say the
to
same.
her, I don't like you.
But would you say that just because you didn't want to be the first one to say I like you?
No,
Or
not really, because I had different previous relationships that failed. And I was more conscious with her. I was more careful.
why did that first relationship fail?
Different goals, different ideas, and because I'm too stick in one goal. I really, when I put in something in my mind, I keep with that, and this is what I really want.
So you were afraid that would happen again?
Exactly. Then I was more cautious with her than with the others, for me not to pass through the same situation.
But then, when they got married, Elena, for example, you, Sylvia, you didn't really have a personality as such, because you wanted to please him all the time, right?
Yes, because after we got married, I think all, like the memories from my stepfather, it came back. Like I was living with a man now, so I was like, I hope he doesn't do the same, And I knew like that he never did nothing like that or close to it, but this fear was still like in the back of my mind. So I was not confident about most of the things, right?
But tell me something, sorry to interrupt you there. What kind of things did you used to do that showed that you were not yet healed, if we can say so, from that past of yours and your family? Because I don't know if this happens to you, but I often notice that when you get into the marriage, that's when you kind of know who you really are and what's inside of you. So what was it that gave it away, that you were not well yet, like you weren't over the hurt of the past?
Little things like we would go out and then he would ask me, okay, what do you want to eat? And my answer was always the same, whatever you want. So which movie?
You don't want any problems, so I'll just do whatever you want.
Whatever you want for me is good. And then he would ask again.
Marco, you might as well be married to a robot.
Yes, because I try to please her. All the time that you are going out, I try to please her because I spend too much time on work. Not too much time, no, I like to enjoy my work, what I do, and I focus in what I do, and I spend almost every single day many hours in what I do. And the few times that I have with her, I would like to please her and to do what she would like to do.
So you would pass the ball to her, then she would pass the ball to you.
Exactly.
But there would never be a goal. So
and the funny thing, we'll end up have the rest day of my workplace without doing anything. We will go out because I would like to leave the house early to have the whole day with her. But she will take too long to decide if you will go or if you will not to go, and we end up staying at home or something else.
It's very interesting what you said. I'm just listening, but I'm still focusing on what you said, Sylvia. How many couples that never reached the stage of marriage yet, but they dated for a really long time, like it's quite popular nowadays, and because of lack of personality, they split up. It's like, oh, she's not interesting. And deep down, it's not that she's not interesting, it's because she has an issue that she never dealt with. Can you understand how bad this could have turned for you? And this is what happens to many women and men. It's like you go out with someone, it's like, I don't know about this person, she's very pretty and everything, but there's nothing going for her. She's so like, no personality, she's a bit boring. And it wasn't the case, it was just because you were afraid to have fights and disagreements.
Yeah, I think most of the time the person doesn't know she's like that, you know? And the person wants the other one to understand, like, I just want to please you, you know, and the other one says, okay, I want to please you too. So
and
they argue about it.
Today we're talking about, you know, appearance, and when the person's too worried with appearance and plastic surgery and all these kind of things to please the other person. And we were saying that usually a person does that because there's something else hidden that they're trying to deal with, to cover up. So they try to deal with that with, you know, the changing something about their appearance. And in your case, you didn't have a problem with your appearance, but you did have something that was hidden that hadn't been dealt with. How long did it take you for you to overcome that?
I would say maybe 2-3 years, because he helped me a lot.
Right.
He helped me a lot. He was always supportive.
And Mark, you weren't the kind of guy that would say, come on, have some personality. You didn't do that. You tried to, you spoke to her. What did you do?
I was trying to understand her point of view, our situation. I was trying to put myself in her shoes to try to understand what was the problem. Of course, there was some arguments between it, because it got to a point that sometimes I thought that it crossed my mind that would not have any other way to deal with that if not try to force her to change.
So you did try to force her a little bit?
Yes, once in a while I tried to.
Did it work?
No, it didn't.
So it does not work. People at home, it does not work.
It didn't work at all, and got to a point that I said, you know what, let's be patient and let's see what will happens at the end.
And that's what started to change things?
Yes.
Okay, but then I want to find out from you after the break, Sylvia, what was it about him that he had to change? Because he couldn't have just been you, right?
Yes.
I imagine he's not perfect. So we're going to go to a short break and we'll be right back. And you can see we're saying now that everything in a relationship, there's always a root to it inside. Today we're talking about appearance, and the truth is that whatever attention or too much attention people put in the appearance part of things, it's usually because there's a root that appearance or plastic surgery or makeup doesn't usually deal with. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. We are joined here with Sylvia and Mark, and I would like to know more about Mark now. What were the things that used to happen with you? I mean, you know, in the beginning of the marriage, what were the things, the difficulties you faced? Because we heard Sylvia. What about you? What was challenging for you?
The challenge was to understand her.
Okay. How did you figure out that you needed to understand her? Because it's because you noticed that something wasn't right, isn't it?
Correct.
So you weren't actually fighting her, but actually trying to think what was wrong. So how did you go about it all? Because many couples, they don't resort to that first thing. They argue for many years and then they think about, oh, maybe she has a problem.
Yeah, the point is, I also came from a broken family. And I saw the mistake that my parents did, and I tried to avoid the mistakes that my father did and my mother. Then I tried to fix and to try to understand also her point of view, also because of my views also at that time was totally different as a few years ago before.
So and she went through the same thing at home, so you kind of empathized with her and you saw, oh, maybe she's going through the same thing. But in a practical way, what did you used to do in a more practical way? For example, let me make it easy for you. She would come to you and be like, completely, oh yes sir, let's do, yeah, yes sir. Oh, she didn't want any conflicts or anything. How did you react to that in a practical way?
I tried to talk to her first. I tried to tell her, look, don't do this, don't stop being like that.
After how long, if I may ask?
For 2-3 years, all the time.
Okay.
And like that.
And the thing is that you weren't telling her, stop doing this, not because you were trying to boss her around, you're just trying to help her to, you know, have personality. Because you had no personality. You had too much personality. See, it was a problem, right? Because you were saying to us during the break, you were very strict.
Yes.
Right? You were a very strict person, even when you were single. Did that cause conflicts between both of you?
Yes, because all the time that I tried to tell her to stop doing it, she thought that I was trying to boss her and try to force her to change also herself. And this made her more
Closed up.
And she will not open up too much to me. And all the time I try to ask, what happens? What's wrong with you? And she would say, everything is fine. There's nothing wrong. I start to think to myself, how come she said that nothing is wrong, but is all the time going there? And it was hard to take something out of her. Until one day I decided to go easy on her.
So initially, you were kind of, although your intention was good, you were kind of really harsh talking to her, right? What's wrong?
But I think it's a man thing, isn't it?
Yes, but
So
I
let's
think
get this sorted. We don't have to live like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
I learned that with him because that's how he deals with me. Okay, let's just figure things out and sort it out. Just, you know.
But I think, for example, sometimes the more you say, what's wrong, tell me what's wrong, let's fix this now, the less the person opens up. It has the opposite effect. Is that what happened?
Yes, that's what happened. Because it's like, I would look at me like, I'm fine, I don't have a problem. I don't know what do you mean with that. But when he started to actually tell me, like every time he would go to a place, he would tell me, look, you choose, look, you. So I had to force myself to choose something, because in my mind was always like, oh, I might ask for something, we might go to see a movie, we might go to a restaurant that he doesn't like, so that would stay in my mind. But I had to, I started overcoming that, because he was like, no, you choose, and whatever you choose is going to be good for both. And then...
Yeah, she always tried to be at home. I always was an outgoing person. I like to go to nature, to stay in the park, to relax. Yes,
so
I like this kind of environments to relax my mind. But she's the opposite. She would like to stay at home, watching
stay home with a
TV.
blanket and watching TV is the best.
And for me that was annoying, because be at home, sitting down, looking at a box.
A good movie.
It's quite annoying.
But we can kind of understand why you came from the beach side of Portugal and
yes.
you're like, what, the buildings in the city.
Yeah.
So that's what they do there.
I spend all year in the beach. Winter, summer, raining,
A free
cold.
bird.
Yes, inside of the water, swimming. And doing picnics, outgoing,
And I don't
camping.
even know how to swim, so you can go. No, I don't like too much water.
Did you hear what I said when I asked him on the quiz? What was one of your best memories as a child? He said, when I used to go camping with my family.
I hate camping, just thinking about being with all those insects.
And actually, you see some people say, well, I want to find someone to date, to get married, that likes exactly the same things that I like. So marry yourself. because,
good idea.
Because actually that doesn't work. Most couples that we know that are really happy now are couples that sometimes they like very different things.
And I think
but the
it's
important
good.
things are together, which are the goals and things like that, right?
Yeah, people sometimes, I think that people don't know what they want. Oh, I want this and I want that, I want him to be like this. But they wouldn't stand a man who is overly romantic, who is overly pleasing, overly everything. So the opposite attracts, isn't it? So if you are so nice all the time, no personality, it's like, oh, please. It's not, challenging, I think.
About being romantic, I have nothing of that.
But I like it, because I had a previous relationship with that thing. It was good that it didn't work. That he was extremely romantic.
Too romantic.
Got so I thought I wanted that because it was the opposite of my stepfather.
Yes.
And I was in this relationship for 2 years. But after I was like, no, this is too much. It's like, it's too sticky. And then he was because when I met him, he was very strict, let's say that way. But like, he was no romance most of the time. So I was happy. Yeah, I like that. That's what I want. But I thought I wanted the other way.
We don't always know what we want.
It's true.
And it's something important to say as well, guys, is that you were saying that you wanted to know what was wrong with her and so on. And perhaps there was nothing necessarily wrong with her, right? She wasn't like broken and you had to fix her or anything. But going back to the issue of appearance and Botox and all these kind of things, this always hides an issue, right? That if that issue is not resolved, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. For example, if you had been in the marriage for, you guys are married now for what, 11 years?
Yes.
11 years. If you had been for 11 years without personality, without showing what you like, what you don't like, I'm sorry, but your marriage would be very boring. Is it true or not? Very boring, because part of the fun of marriage is sometimes disagreeing on some things, you know? You don't like certain things and you go to a restaurant that he doesn't like sometimes, but next time you sacrifice and you... So I think it's important that people understand that there may be things that need changing. That doesn't mean you need to replace the person. It just means you need to adjust, and that was an important part for both of you, right?
Yes.
What's your advice, Mark, for couples who have issues that are hidden, that need to be dealt with, but they haven't been able to deal with? What's your advice for them?
They have to try to find a way to go around it. I once read the story of someone asking a couple that were living together for 80 years, and they asked why they last so long, because they were 100 something. And they said, look, my time was that we learned to fix what was broken. We didn't throw away what was broken. We learned to fix. Today, people are learning to get rid of what they think that is broken, like a relationship. They think that the relationship is broken and to try to get rid of it.
Right.
But instead of trying to fix it, trying to figure out what is the problem, to put pieces together and have a kind of work, a bit of work to do that, but will work forever.
So your advice is try to find out the root of the problem and fix it. It's also important to say that it's all about the approach as well. Be careful, because if you do what Mark was doing in the beginning, tell me what's wrong, right? It's not going to work. So try to fix a problem, but the approach is important. How important was the approach for you, Sylvia?
It was very important, because it's like I start feeling that he cared for me. So it was really important. So then I could open up and tell him what were my issues. But it's like that I felt like he was understanding me. So this was really, really important.
And didn't you feel happier? Because I doubted that you were happy in the beginning, during those 2-3 years where you were like kind of stuck, like, oh my
scared.
gosh, scared. I can't be myself because maybe it will trigger a reaction from him, and I don't want anything ugly to happen. So, looking back, even though you were married to the same person, don't you feel a lot more happier?
Of course,
and free.
Of course.
Do you see
now
the
I can be
difference?
I can be myself, right?
That's great. So, guys, thank you very much for being on the show.
Indeed,
thank you. It was a pleasure.
And it's good because they used to watch our show in Australia, right? You were in Australia, and they used to watch our show there. So it's finally good to have you guys sitting on this side of the sofa.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
And I would like to just tell our viewers at home, if you'd like to be on the show and share your experience, you can always email us on questions at lovetalkshow.tv.
That's right. We're going to go for a break, and we'll come back with the final part of our show and telling you how you can deal with the issue that perhaps you have been trying to cover up with things that don't really deal with the actual root of the problem. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
In your opinion, how does image affect a relationship?
Well, it creates a perception, so perceptions are very important. It's not what you are, it's what the other one perceives about you. And a perception comes from your image, the way you do things and some other things, but I think that's very important.
Yeah, I think it was important because, I feel like you have a physical attraction to your other half, because I feel like if you don't, then you could just be friends, to be honest, because you can have an emotional connection with a friend but not really a physical one.
Right, so from 1 to 10, how important is that?
7?
I guess it's important because you don't want to look like a tramp, but Yeah, it is important. I think it is.
I think it's important as well because, you know, being attracted to a person is a really important part of, well, it's not part of the relationship, but people often blame their cheating sometimes on the other person, maybe letting themselves go because they get comfortable in a relationship and they think they shouldn't put the effort in anymore. I think it's important you keep that up. So you remind the other one why you're attracted to each other in the first place. Of course, personality as well, but I'd say about 5, 6.
Welcome back. It was great to have Mark and Sylvia here. And although they didn't do much of plastic surgery, actually any plastic surgery, you can see that there were some issues there that they had to deal with.
Yes.
Now, first of all, we want to let you know that we will be as honest as we can here right now. More often than not, when a person becomes slightly over preoccupied with their appearance, this always hides a much deeper problem. One that cannot be covered with Botox or plastic surgery.
Surely not everyone that has plastic surgery has inner issues, but most times an extreme concern with how a person looks shows that there is a deeper underlying problem. The worst part is that changing something on the outside does not necessarily guarantee that the way you see yourself will change.
In fact, when we deal with insecurities that are hidden inside and we eradicate them, we automatically start to see ourselves differently and consequently start to look more after our appearance, but in a healthy way.
It is completely up to the person whether she will change anything surgically in her looks or not. The important part, however, is to deal with the issues that have been left hidden away from everyone, perhaps for a really long time.
Don't let the pressure of magazines make you feel that your body is inadequate or that there is something wrong with you. But do invest in improving your looks, but in an organic fashion and for the right reasons.
Do it because it will make you feel better about yourself, healthier, more energetic, and a whole lot of other good reasons. Plastic surgery is not a permanent solution. Inner change, however, is permanent.
So when we say that, the investment in our appearance should be an organic one, we mean a natural investment, right? I mean, everybody likes to have their hair trimmed, everybody likes to put a little makeup on, to exercise, to look better. That's normal. Just don't let your appearance become an addiction to the point where you spend rivers of money on something on the outside that perhaps is hiding a much deeper problem.
Absolutely. I would even say that it's worth highlighting the fact that maybe if you're having this urge, this need so strong to do procedures on you and have this done and that done, check how you are inside, from within, what is going on from inside. And also, just like Sylvia was talking about, our guest, she was having a lot of personality issues, and that can turn someone not so attractive. If you think with me, if you're someone who has no interests, who has no opinions, you can be the most beautiful woman or man and still have this empty thing about yourself. So maybe you should consider that as well.
So it's been a pleasure to be with you. Before we go, we just want to remind you we started a new show on our YouTube channel called Dear Love Talk. You can send us your questions to questions@lovetalkshow.tv. Before we go, here's this week What's Amore.
Hi everyone, we are here today in London in a very beautiful park called Green Park. Look at this wonderful weather, and we thought of coming out and asking people what they think love is. Let's hear it. Well, what's love to you?
I think it's just spending time with somebody that you do the same things with and appreciate the same stuff. And I don't think you have to be with someone to love someone, but yeah, something like that. Like just spending time. I love a lot of people. Yeah.
What about you?
I guess like happiness is like one thing, definitely. And peace of mind as well, I guess, like having trust in someone else.
It's just feeling comfortable with someone and not wanting to be with anyone else.
I think, it's just the same, just feeling really comfortable around someone. So comfortable that you can literally do whatever you want. Like, I don't know, just be crazy in love.
sometimes it can be an illusion, like when you fall in love with someone, like you think you fall in love with him, but you actually fell in love with an image of him in your mind. So like I've experienced that, so for me a love can sometimes be an illusion.
Well, I think it's just trust and it's forever.
And it's being together for how many years?
32 years, so that's love as well.
Not being too curious, but maybe. But what's your secret? I mean, what's your advice to younger couples?
Give each other space and do your own thing.
Respect each other, and like each other.
Yeah.
That's it really. You've got to like each other to love each other.
Yeah.
I think love could be everything, because love can really change a person. So love can define what we are, what's around us, and I think just it could be everything or it could just turn to nothing.
Basically, it's just being helpful with the other and respecting the other is what it is. This is what it is, really. Like, the main thing is to be with the other person and help them, respect them, and let them do whatever they want, really. That's the main thing for me, love.
For me, love is appreciate the things you can enjoy in other person, or you can love a person or a place, anything.
Thank you. What about you?
For me, love is about know the other, and forgiveness and sacrifice. The most about love is better.
So sacrifice, yeah?
Yeah, in the most.
I think love is very broad, and the more you share, the more you get back. And some people are a little bit jealous and think that, you know, there isn't enough, that you have to, you know, contain it and get jealous if you have too many friends or something. But I think that love is, you know, it's fundamental, and it's fundamental. We need it.
Well, sharing and I don't know what to say to that. Do you really? Well, I fell in love with her, if that's what you want to know. And I suppose I hope she fell in love with me.
Yeah, that's right.
So what is love, Doreen? Joining, sharing.
That's it.
Have the odd argument, of course.
Of course you do.
You couldn't go through life without an argument, could you? So.
And what's your secret for staying together for so long?
I wouldn't be without him. I wouldn't be without him.
Neither will I. No, we travelled all over the place, been to various places together. I've got family, children, grandchildren.
Great-grandchildren.
Yes. But we go everywhere together, shows together. I don't think there's not much we don't do.
And tell me, what would you advise the younger couples? When you look at younger couples and you look at yourselves and what you've been through and what you've achieved, you are together all these years, what would you tell these young couples?
Well, you've got a tolerance, yeah, that's one thing you've got to have. Because you're different people, and you've got to start making, whatchamacallits for, what's the word you use for that, Doreen? You've got to accept certain tolerances, you know, certain things, and don't try and overrule the other person. Just go along together, and if there's a disagreement, agree to disagree.
Try to please each other.